In the quiet suburb of Glen Locks, Texas, an ordinary December evening was shattered by an act of unspeakable violence. It was December 6, 2021, when the tranquility of this close-knit community was pierced by the sharp retort of gunfire. A panicked call to the Harris County Police would soon reveal the horror that had unfolded. The caller, a neighbor, described the scene with palpable fear. 3 loud gunshots had echoed through the neighborhood, prompting them to venture outside. There, they witnessed a sight that would haunt them: a woman lying motionless, with blood staining her chest and seeping from her mouth. As officers arrived at the 19,800 block of Rose Dawn Lane, they were met with a tableau of tragedy. The lifeless body of 48-year-old Pat Birmingham lay in the driveway. Nearby stood her husband, Carrie Birmingham, a man of 60 years, clad incongruously in a bathrobe. His demeanor was disoriented, his speech slurred, betraying a state of heavy intoxication. The responding officers, sensing the gravity of the situation, moved swiftly to secure the area. Carrie was apprehended without resistance, yet his muttered words chilled the air. What had driven him to such a desperate act? The investigation soon uncovered details that painted a picture of premeditated violence. 3 spent shotgun shells were discovered at the scene. 2 lay near the tires of a white Tesla parked in the garage, indicating that Carrie had discharged his weapon at the vehicle before turning it on his wife. This was not a momentary lapse into madness. It was an act rooted in calculated brutality. As the details unfolded, a troubling history emerged. The relationship between Carrie and Pat was marred by years of domestic abuse, a cycle of control and fear that had festered behind closed doors. In public, they might have appeared as a typical couple, but their home was a crucible of psychological torment. Carrie's actions on that fateful night were not born of sudden rage. They were the culmination of years of pent-up aggression. The tragedy of Pat Birmingham's demise was not merely the loss of a life, but the extinguishing of a light that had been dimmed long before that December night. Her death cast a long shadow over the community, prompting introspection on the hidden struggles of domestic life and the unseen battles fought within the confines of one's home. In the aftermath, the story of Pat and Carrie Birmingham serves as a stark reminder of the complex dynamics of human relationships and the dark undercurrents that can lurk beneath the surface. It challenges us to consider the silent cries for help that often go unheard, and the societal responsibility to recognize and address the signs of domestic abuse. As the case progressed through the legal system, it underscored the importance of justice not only in the courtroom, but in everyday vigilance, advocating for those who cannot advocate for themselves. In the end, the tragedy of Rose Dawn Lane stands as both a cautionary tale and a call to action, urging us to look beyond the facade of normalcy and address the deeper issues that lie within. The deadly trajectory of a single bullet found its mark with precision, penetrating Patricia's right eye and extinguishing her life in an instant. In the wake of this violent act, Carrie, the perpetrator, displayed a disconcerting lack of remorse. His behavior, erratic and punctuated crime. As the authorities apprehended Carrie, his demeanor was unnervingly composed. An eerie calmness settled over him, as if the gravity of his actions eluded him. Even with the lifeless form of his wife beside him, his intoxicated state did not mask the chilling awareness of the brutality he'd inflicted. Despite his apparent inebriation, there was an unsettling clarity in his recognition of why Patricia had met such a tragic fate. Transported to the Harris County Homicide Office, Carrie was left to confront the sobering reality of his situation. Meanwhile, investigators embarked on the arduous task of reconstructing the harrowing events of that morning. A search warrant was swiftly secured, granting the police access to the couple's residence in pursuit of further evidence. Upon entering the home through a side door, investigators were met with the sight of a shotgun casually propped against the kitchen wall. Its proximity to Patricia's body suggested it was the instrument of her demise. Further exploration of the house revealed an alarming cache of firearms. Yet it was the shotgun with its telltale shells strewn outside that forensic testing later confirmed as the murder weapon. The investigation took a grim turn upon the discovery of a blood-smeared cell phone in the garage. This seemingly innocuous device, stained with Patricia's blood, hinted at the possibility that it might contain crucial evidence. Forensic analysis confirmed the blood was indeed Patricia's, raising the haunting prospect that she clutched the phone in her final moments, perhaps attempting to capture the truth of her tragic end. Not long after, detectives gained access to Patricia's personal cell phone, unearthing a trove of digital evidence that further implicated Carey. Among the data was an audio recording, a clandestine chronicle of the couple's deteriorating relationship. Patricia, in a moment of foresight, had pressed record, perhaps aware that the escalating discord between them warranted documentation. The recording commenced at precisely 9:58 in the morning, capturing Patricia's voice, quivering with a palpable fear, yet resolute in her quest to document the tension that suffused their home. The couple's arguments were no novelty, yet this particular exchange bore a foreboding weight. As detectives scrutinized the audio, a revelation emerged. Patricia's voice, filled with an ominous resignation, uttered the words, "Go get your gun." This chilling directive, spoken in the heat of confrontation, laid bare the volatile dynamics of their relationship. It was a stark testament to the fear and turmoil that had become a fixture in Patricia's life. The audio recording, a poignant echo of her final hours, painted a vivid portrait of a marriage fraught with danger and despair. In the realm of human relationships, where love and violence often walk a precarious line, Patricia's story stands as a somber reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can reside within the human heart. Her untimely death, captured in the annals of forensic evidence and digital footprints, serves as both a cautionary tale and a call to vigilance, urging us to recognize and address the silent cries for help that too often go unheard. The narrative that unfolded before the detectives was one of chilling foreboding. The ominous line they had come across suggested that this was not the first instance of Carey brandishing a firearm with malicious intent towards Patricia. What began as an inquiry into a single incident soon unraveled into a tapestry of fear and intimidation that Patricia had been ensnared in for far too long. As investigators delved deeper, speaking with those who knew Patricia intimately, a grim portrait of her life with Carey emerged. Friends and family painted a picture of a man whose mental state had deteriorated markedly. His behavior had become increasingly erratic and unpredictable, casting a shadow of dread over those around him. The potential for violence loomed large, and it seemed only a matter of time before that potential became reality. Patricia's ordeal was not new. She had endured a litany of mental abuse at Carey's hands. Yet this time, the threat was no longer just psychological. The boundaries of intimidation had been breached, and she found herself in the crosshairs of an escalating menace. The detectives described Carey's actions as eerie, movements that were harbingers of the violence to come. His descent into a violent abyss was palpable, and it seemed Patricia was acutely aware of the danger she was in. The police investigation revealed a crucial piece of evidence in the form of security camera footage. The images captured Patricia in a state of palpable fear, her desperation evident as she attempted to document the terror unfolding around her. This was not merely another argument. It was a harrowing testament to the peril she faced. Yet the investigators were left with only a fragment of the story, a single short clip that provided a haunting glimpse into her final moments. Despite its brevity, the audio recording accompanying the footage was a vital piece of the puzzle. It offered a window into Carey's twisted rationale, shedding light on the motivations that drove him to commit such an unspeakable act. Patricia, despite the constant barrage of threats, had clung to the hope that Carey would not cross the ultimate line. She underestimated the depths of his malice. Carey's threats were not mere bluster. They were calculated, sinister promises of what he intended to do. Even as Patricia recorded his menacing words, he seemed unconcerned, possibly believing he could manipulate the situation to his advantage. His plan was insidious. He sought to construct a narrative that would cast Patricia as the villain, even in her death. Among the many accusations Carey hurled was one of infidelity, targeting Patricia with baseless claims of an affair. The investigators, thorough in their pursuit of truth, found no evidence to support his allegations. Yet, Carey persisted in his delusions, using them as a pretext for his actions. Patricia's denials fell on deaf ears, for Carey was not seeking truth. He was orchestrating a tragedy. As Patricia contemplated escape, a brief respite from the relentless torment, Carey's resolve only hardened. He was determined to ensure that her attempts to break free would be futile. The investigation later uncovered recordings that showcased the extent of Carey's descent. He was not merely intent on controlling her, he sought to publicly disgrace her, to make her suffering a spectacle. Meant to his unraveling. He seemed indifferent to the chaos he projected, singularly focused on his pursuit of Patricia. His actions were driven by a chilling determination to see his plan through to the bitter end. In the end, the story of Patricia and Carey is one of tragedy, a stark reminder of the darkness that can reside within the human heart. It speaks to the fragility of trust and the devastating impact of unchecked malice. As the investigation concluded, it left behind a sobering reflection on the nature of violence and the perilous journey from love to destruction. In the dim glow of streetlights, a chilling narrative unfolded, a tale of fear, desperation, and unrelenting malevolence. The recorded footage, stark and undeniable, painted a haunting portrait of Patricia's final moments, a woman ensnared in a web of terror, spun by the man she once trusted. Her eyes, wide with fear, darted around as she sought refuge from the ominous presence of Carey, a man whose potential for violence was matched only by his cold, calculating demeanor. The video captured a scene fraught with tension as Patricia, acutely aware of the imminent threat, attempted to distance herself from Carey. He possessed the physical strength to overpower her, the capability to strangle the life from her, to extinguish her very existence, if he got close enough. Initially, it seemed as though Carey, in a state of inebriation, had conceded to retreat, his footsteps trailing back to their shared abode. For Patricia, this retreat might have been a temporary reprieve, a momentary illusion of safety. Yet beneath this facade of calm lay a far more sinister intent. Carey, despite his drunken stupor, remained acutely conscious of the environment, of Patricia's every anxious glance. This awareness was not lost on him. Rather, he wielded it as a psychological weapon. He refrained from public outbursts, opting instead for a veneer of tranquility. A calculated silence designed to lull Patricia into a false sense of security. It was a silence that belied the storm brewing within, a silence that masked the darkness of his intentions. return. The subsequent moments, etched in the harsh clarity of video, would irrevocably alter the course of her life. Despite her valiant efforts, her struggle was in vain against the tide of violence that was to come. The footage, chilling in its clarity, left no room for ambiguity about Carey's nature, a man who had transformed into a calculated and remorseless executioner. Patricia's attempts to document her final moments were born out of necessity, a desperate bid for justice against an unyielding adversary. Tragically, her resistance was overwhelmed, and soon the world was bereft of her presence. The aftermath of this brutal act was made even more horrifying by the evidence of her fierce fight for survival. The injuries she sustained bore testament to her determination to resist, to live. Her head struck violently, a testament to the savage nature of the assault, underscored the ferocity of her struggle. This was not a mere argument spiraling out of control. It was a calculated execution, devoid of mercy or humanity. Carey's actions were cold, methodical, and deliberate. In a moment that defied comprehension, he fired a single, fatal shot to Patricia's head, sealing her fate with a brutal finality. The subsequent shots, fired into the tires of her vehicle, were an eerie testament to his resolve to ensure she could not escape, even in death. The aftermath of this violence demanded a closed casket, the damage to Patricia's visage too severe, too painful for the world to witness. Carey, even in the throes of intoxication, exhibited a chilling composure. His actions in the wake of the murder were methodical, an attempt to erase the evidence of his heinous crime. There was no remorse, no fear, only the cold satisfaction of a goal achieved. The evidence gathered left no room for doubt. Carey Birmingham had murdered his wife Patricia in cold blood. The recordings provided a window into his psyche, revealing a mind not clouded by alcohol, but one driven by a sinister clarity. Investigators uncovered a truth more chilling than mere drunken violence. Carey was not a man lost in a fog of inebriation, but a predator in full control, executing a plan with precision and intent. In the final analysis, the story of Patricia and Carey is a stark reminder of the darkness that can reside within the human soul. It is a narrative of caution, urging vigilance, and a testament to the indomitable spirit that fights against the encroaching shadows. The echoes of this tragic tale linger, a somber reflection on the capacity for both love and violence within the human heart. In the quiet corridors of justice, where shadows of truth and deception often intertwine, the case of Patricia Birmingham's Untim Birmingham took in the days leading up to that fateful moment whispered of premeditation, a calculated orchestration of events that would culminate in the irrevocable act of murder. Patricia, a beacon of light for her family and friends, became an unsuspecting victim of a narrative spun by her own husband. When the time came to answer for his actions, Carey remained an enigmatic figure of silence, his lips sealed, his motives obscured behind a veil of unyielding reticence. He offered no explanation, no insight into the darkness that had consumed him, leaving only a tapestry of unanswered questions in his wake. The accusation of infidelity, which Carey had fervently wielded as a weapon, crumbled under scrutiny. There was no evidence to substantiate his claims, no clandestine meetings, no whispered secrets exchanged under the cover of night. It became evident that these allegations were nothing more than a smokescreen, a desperate attempt to deflect culpability. Patricia's death, a cataclysmic shock to those who loved her, was now seen for what it truly was, a tragedy born from deceit and delusion. To those who observed the couple from afar, their life appeared enviably normal, a picturesque tableau of marital harmony. This was Carrie's second marriage, a union that seemed to find solid ground with the birth of their daughter, Olivia. Yet beneath this facade of stability, the foundations were crumbling. The pressures of financial strain and Carrie's growing dependency on alcohol created fissures that widened with each passing day. Carrie presented himself as a paragon of success, a young gentleman of professional demeanor, his career in insurance a testament to his acumen. To Patricia's sister, he was a figure of ambiguous charm, his self-assurance both admirable and unsettling. Despite the surface-level impressions, there was no reason to doubt Patricia's choice in a partner, yet, as the layers were peeled back, a more sinister portrait emerged. The couple's social life, marred by the omnipresence of alcohol, revealed a household fraught with tension. The financial burdens that loomed over them were exacerbated by Carrie's increasing reliance on drink, a vice that dulled his senses and clouded his judgment. Emotions simmered just beneath the surface, but no one could have foreseen the... Patricia's sister, a voice of sorrow and disbelief, shared her heartache with the world, while investigators noted the unprecedented nature of the case. The existence of video footage capturing the moments leading up to the murder provided a rare glimpse into the private world of the Birminghams. It was a window into the mind of a man unraveling, his intentions laid bare for all to see. The footage, a haunting testament to Patricia's foresight, recorded the final 30 minutes of her life. It was an unflinching chronicle of a woman aware of her impending fate, a chilling prelude to the violence that would ensue. Carrie's chilling farewell, urging Patricia to go meet Jesus, echoed with a finality that sent shivers down the spine. It was an act of cold-blooded premeditation that defied comprehension. In March of 2024, the wheels of justice began to turn as Patricia Birmingham's murder case was brought to court. The courtroom became a stage for the unfolding drama, a place where the truth would be painstakingly unraveled. As the evidence was laid bare, the reality of Carrie's actions became undeniable. The recordings, the testimonies, the stark reality of Patricia's last moments all contributed to a narrative that would forever haunt those who bore witness. This case, with its unique and harrowing evidence, serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities of human relationships. It underscores the fragile nature of trust and the devastating consequences of deceit. In the end, it is a reflection on the human condition, a meditation on the capacity for both love and betrayal, and a somber reminder of the shadows that can dwell within us all. Their daughter, Olivia, emerged from the shadows of silence to reveal a harrowing tale of enduring emotional and financial abuse at the hands of her father. In a courtroom charged with tension, Carrie's defense attorney contended that her actions were not premeditated, but rather an impulsive eruption, a crime of passion born from sudden mental anguish. In an unexpected turn, a jury composed entirely of women found this argument compelling. After careful deliberation, they reached a verdict that stunned many. Carrie was sentenced to 10 years in prison, fined $5,000, with the possibility of parole after serving only half her term. The jury concurred with the defense's narrative of sudden passion, opting for a sentence just beyond the minimum. This decision sparked a profound debate within the community. Is this a reflection of justice in Texas? Can one truly navigate the complexities of an underpinned murder charge with such leniency? For those who dedicate their lives to the pursuit of justice, the outcome was a bitter pill to swallow, leaving them to grapple with the purpose and impact of their work. This case, unraveling from what appeared to be an ordinary life, serves as a chilling testament to the hidden dangers lurking beneath the surface of familiar smiles. It is a poignant reminder of the fragility of human existence and the unforeseen turns it may take, challenging our perceptions of justice and morality.